Hello everyone and welcome to Nintendo Lounge. I'm your host Scott. Joining me as always is Jimmy, and today we're going over some of the news that came out in the month of September. Now September is always a fun little month, and we're approaching the spooky season of October.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky. Jimmy, how was your September?
Mine was pretty good, a little bit stressful and stuff like that, but we're coming to the end of the year, so that kind of makes sense. But in terms of Nintendo stuff, we got some cool stuff, some directs. How was your September, buddy?
My September was alright. Something quite exciting happened in which I premiered a new show over on Radio Sega and then uploaded to Nintendo Lounge right after, and that's Sweaty Sundays.
Oh boy, it's Sweaty Sundays! Oh, I gotta get hyped up for that. Okay, sorry, I'll come down. Yeah, it's our new show. It's a podcast, and it's just us talking about gamesy stuff and sometimes lifey stuff. And then whatever we want to talk about stuff if we got nothing else to talk about. So
exactly. Yeah. So we've got these discussion videos where we stick to one topic. So today we're talking about the September news, whereas Sweaty Sundays we just chill out for a bit. We just have a chat, talk about whatever we want. Exactly. So if you want to check them out, we've got episode 1 and 2 available on YouTube right now. The first one's sort of like an origin story of how Sweaty Sundays came about, and episode 2 is more of just like a casual, going over a few different topics from going to hospital, Valkyria Chronicles, the new Spider-Man game, Shenmue, just having some banter. Yeah. But now we're going to banter about the Nintendo news, and we're starting off with a game that was announced all the way back in the January Nintendo Switch event in 2017, that is Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes. And we finally got a release date for it. It will be coming out January 2019, 2 years after it got announced, and it'll be releasing on the 18th of January. Now, I was always interested in the first two No More Heroes games. I never played them, but I always loved the concept of it because it was kind of like Star Wars in a sense, because you had this big lightsaber kind of thing, and it had a really cool art style. I never actually got to play it on the Wii. I really hope they re-release it on the Switch, maybe, possibly. That would be pretty cool. But this No More Heroes game is sort of a spin-off, and it doesn't have the same kind of traditional gameplay. Travis goes into the world of different indie games, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's cool.
I believe Hotline Miami is one of the worlds that he goes into, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else they come up with. Maybe Hyper Light Drifter, maybe Undertale. We might not have Sans for Smash, but we might have Sans for No More Heroes. Who knows? Jimmy, are you keen for some No More Heroes? Did you ever play the originals?
No, I've never actually touched it. I didn't know much about it, and it's only been really recent that I found out it had a lot of indie game, obviously this is X1 coming, it has indie game rep in it, and it looks really cool because of that. So I'm keen to just see a game that's made by a more mainstream developer that's kind of really hitting home the indie game reps that are coming out, because indie games are kind of taking over the industry and showing you can make a game from nothing and just kind of make it a big success. So I'm really keen for that, showing some representation for what's really good in the gaming industry right now. So yeah, cool. I'm keen for it. I don't know if I'll actually officially buy it, but I'm keen to see it and see it be a success, so that'd be cool. Yeah,
exactly, and hopefully it will sell well, so we can get a No More Heroes 3, go back to the sort of traditional gameplay. But speaking of selling well, Mario & Rabbids has sold very well on the Nintendo Switch. It has sold more than 2 million copies. Well, probably not anymore, since Jimmy returned his the other day, didn't you, Jimmy?
Oh yeah, I did.
It's a bit awkward there.
But the thing is, even if I did return it, I traded it actually, they don't obviously get their money taken away from them. I'm just getting money to spend at the store, so technically they've still sold a copy there. So but I would assume, and I know for a fact, that a lot of people that bought it did return and trade it back in. Not that it's a bad game, I just don't think it's exactly what people expected when they see Mario on the front cover of a game. I feel like a lot of people would expect traditional Mario, and they kind of get a little bit misled because people are dumb. They don't look at the back of a game, they don't look at trailers, they just buy a game that has Mario on the cover, and then they're like, oh, this is not what I wanted. So people just do that, and I feel like Mario & Rabbids is one of those games that does get brought back quite a bit. But the sales are cool. It's cool that they did pretty good. I'm happy for them, but mainly I'm going to assume a lot of that's due to Mario being on the front cover.
Probably. But yeah, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle had been the highest-selling third-party Nintendo Switch game, which is pretty good for Ubisoft. And that means we get more Nintendo representation in Ubisoft games. We've got Starlink coming out with Star Fox. Looking forward to seeing where they'll go in the future. Maybe some more. Maybe we'll have Captain Falcon in Assassin's Creed. I don't know.
You really try to pull at straws there, didn't you?
I did. I was like, what's a Ubisoft property that I can just think of at the top of my head?
I mean, Just Dance, there we go. Captain Falcon in Just Dance. We could do like a Falcon kick, like in real life. That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. Something else that's pretty cool is Valkyria Chronicles 4 released this September. I talked about my pre-order fiasco story over on episode 2 of Sweaty Sundays, so be sure to go listen to that. But Sega announced that the original Valkyria Chronicles game will be releasing in October. So if you haven't played the original Valkyria Chronicles and you're like, I might want to play that one before I play 4, you can do that on the Nintendo Switch on October 16th. Now, just to let you know, Valkyria Chronicles 4 and 1, they actually take place in the same time frame, so you don't have to play one over the other to get the story, since they both take place at the same time, which is pretty cool. So people can just come into the series wherever they want, and don't have to worry about, there's 4 of these games I have to play through. Don't need to worry. Jimmy, now that I know you've played a little bit of Valkyria Chronicles, would you give it another go on the Nintendo Switch?
Oh, I will definitely. It's cool. I might try the newer one as opposed to maybe I don't know. Honestly, I'm not too sure. So since the new one's out, might be a better chance for me to give it a go soon. So might give it a go. But then again, the first one's coming up sooner than we're we're really coming close to it. So I don't know. Yeah. Whatever one you'd recommend.
Very cheap as well. It will only be $20 in the US, so probably about $30 in Australia. As in comparison, Valkyria Chronicles 4 is around $70.
Okay.
So
I might get the first one. Ugh.
In the next bit of news, it's a bit of sad news. Snake's voice actor has confirmed that no new codecs have been recorded for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, if you don't remember what the codec is, in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, if you go to the Metal Gear stage and you do a down taunt, you could have a really cool codec sort of conversation with different Metal Gear Solid characters, and they'll discuss about the character, and Snake will give his opinions on the character and sort of go and deconstruct their moves and be like, this Sonic guy, he seems pretty fast. And then the other character, voiced by Ben 10's granddad, is like, yes, that's Sonic the Hedgehog, he's a very famous man. And it was really cool. It was kind of similar to the Star Fox kind of down taunt, where you have Slippy and Falco and all those sort of characters talking to each other. But it seems like it won't be making an appearance in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Maybe they're going to record that a bit later on. It might seem a bit late to do that now, but hopefully they add it in, because it's always a fun little addition. Did you ever remember the Brawl Codex?
I think I recall hearing about it and seeing maybe a video on it. I never looked at it in the actual game itself. But I was gonna say they might just use the same clips, but obviously there's more characters than were in Brawl, so that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So I don't know, maybe they just completely cut it, or maybe they're not gonna record them till later. But considering the person has not said anything about hearing anything about doing them yet or anything like that, it's kind of a bit weird. So I don't know, maybe they're just cutting it.
Exactly. Or maybe he's just saying that just to make people think, they're not doing it, and then all of a sudden the game comes out, it's there and everyone's excited.
To spook us a little bit, yeah, maybe.
He might be trolling everyone, who knows. But a Nintendo Direct happened this September, and we did a discussion video over on that, so if you want to check that out, a link to that in the description. Some cool things got announced in there. We got City Skylines, we got the new Animal Crossing, Luigi's Mansion 3 working title, among other stuff. So if you want to check out our thoughts on that, be sure to go watch the video. Get out of here, what are you doing? Go listen to our thoughts on Nintendo Direct.
Get out of here, Numto.
But in the Japanese Nintendo Direct, they announced something which was pretty cool, I thought. And that is Assassin's Creed Odyssey is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Did you know that, Jimmy?
I did hear about this, actually. I heard about this today. So
really, today?
You couldn't surprise me at all, no. I completely watched a video. I can't remember who it was from, but I just heard about it. I was just playing a video in the background, and I heard it's not actually going to be officially running on it. It's going to be like streaming. It's going to be streaming it through the Switch, actually, from what I've heard.
That is correct. It'll be running through the cloud. Which
there you go.
is
Yeah.
very strange. They did that with Resident Evil 7 for the Nintendo Switch as well, and also for Phantasy Star Online 2. Because Japan must have really amazing internet, and I couldn't see this working in Australia.
Oh, never.
At all.
No, never. Absolutely not. I can't even like stream things to like my phone. Like, you know, like how you can like use PlayStation. I can't remember what it is, but there's like a PlayStation thing where you can use your phone as a monitor, but you have to connect to your Wi-Fi to actually stream it from your console to your phone. That doesn't even work very well, and that's just streaming what's on my console that's nearby. This, like, let alone this actually being streamed over a very long distance. This kind of seems like something that'd be really, really difficult. So I don't know, especially Assassin's Creed. I don't know, like, that seems like a game that would need a lot of like, no, not very like very low latency, I guess, or I don't know what the word is, but like not much lag and stuff like that. You probably would want to have like a whole lot of lag in that kind of game because you probably want to be able to react really fast. So streaming that game might be very difficult. So I don't know, maybe they just have really, really good internet in Japan, as you said. Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of internet, September also saw the release of the Nintendo Switch online service.
Oh.
Yay, everyone's favorite. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to buy this, I'm going to wait it out, but I ended up getting it day one.
I mean, that's fair enough, yeah. You're going to get it eventually.
I was going to get it eventually. I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to get it.
Yeah.
On it, of course, we got online play, we got save data, which is very nice of them to do that, apart from Splatoon 2. Which I'm still a bit salty about. We've got the smartphone app, which no one will probably use. And we've also got the NES library, which you can use. And Jimmy had a bit of a not so fun time with the service, did you?
Yeah, no. So with the NES thing, I briefly, actually a very long-winded mention of this in Sweaty Sundays. But to briefly sum it up, I use the CRT filter in the NES, emulated for Zelda, I think, but it does the same thing across all of them pretty much. But basically what it did was it caused my screen to have like LED burn around like certain areas of the inventory, so whenever I actually exited the game, you could still see the outline of like the Zelda inventory in all the games I was playing, because those pixels were completely burnt out and dead. And I was really kind of concerned. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to return my console, and I was really concerned about that. And there's some cases apparently where some people have, done the CRT for hours upon hours, and they still haven't seen the actual screen fade out and go back to normal, because luckily for me, my screen totally fixed up. It faded out within like a couple of hours, which is great, but there's some people that have played it for a very long time. I played it for like 20 minutes. So if you're playing with a CRT filter right now and you've been playing it for a while, turn it off immediately, because you don't want to have any permanent damage to your screen. It seems to have a lot of issues, and hopefully they patch it out or just completely get rid of the CRT filter, because it's just causing a lot of issues. Public service announcement for everyone: don't use CRT filter. It's gonna be a bit of a train wreck for you. But yeah, Scott, I've warned you. You haven't used it yet, have you? But have you played any of the NES games? Have you had any fun with
I've played a few of them. Personally, a lot of people won't like this, I'm not too fond of NES games, to be honest. I don't find them that enjoyable.
Neither do I. I would prefer SNES games. SNES games are just far superior. I played the original Zelda way back in the day. I hated it because I just didn't understand anything. Now I've picked it up again, and it's not horrible, but still, like, I'd prefer to play so many other games, and, Link to the Past on the SNES and everything else, Breath of the Wild. Like, why would you play the original Zelda when you can play Breath of the Wild? Like, honestly, like, you could be nostalgia blind, but nah, it's not that great. There's gonna be Metroid, which is probably one of the best games on the actual NES. That's gonna come around December or something like that, so that's one thing to look forward to, I guess. But other than that, nothing's really standing out on
hopefully they add SNES, maybe Game Boy Advance
they
games
just
in the
have
future.
to. They have to. Like, there's no reason why they shouldn't.
Exactly. Next up is a game which was announced at TGS, and that is Puyo Puyo Esports is heading to the Nintendo Switch on October 25th in Japan. This leaked out before the Nintendo Direct, and we thought that they might show it off at Nintendo Direct. They didn't. But yeah, some Puyo Puyo Esports. A very strange name, to say the least. Sort of like, hey, we're esports guys.
Yeah,
we're esports in your face.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Is it going to catch on as an esport? Probably not, because they're asking for it. See, when you ask for something, you're not going to get it. So if you ask to be like, oh, I want to be an esports game, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen like that. Sometimes, I can beg for Mario Tennis Aces to be an esports game. Doesn't happen. So that's how it works in the real world. Puyo Puyo. Get with it.
Puyo Puyo is already an esports, so...
Shut up, man.
Okay.
This specific one's not going to be an esport. Get out of here. They're going to stick to whatever one's running as an esport right now. Okay?
Alright, so they're going to stick to Puyo Puyo Tetris, and then esports comes out, they're like, nah.
No, they're not going to care.
All about Puyo Puyo Tetris over here.
No one will care, yeah.
Next bit of Sega news is the Sega Mega Drive Classics has come to the Switch this winter with over 50 classic games included, which is pretty exciting. A lot of classic Mega Drive / Genesis games will be coming out, including Golden Axe, Shining Force, Vector Man, Toe Jam and L, Sonic 1 and 2, unfortunately no Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is a bit of a shame. There's a lot of controversies with Sonic 3 and Knuckles in regards to legality issues. A lot of people think it's due to Michael Jackson. Have you heard about this, Jimmy?
No, but that just came out of nowhere. Why did it do with Michael Jackson?
Okay, so with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Michael Jackson came in to do the music for the game.
Okay.
But then when he finished the music, that was when a lot of controversies surrounding Michael Jackson came out. So Sega decided, alright, we're not going to put Michael Jackson's name on this or anything. We're going to strip his name from it and just hope no one pays attention or anything like that. Throughout the years, a lot of conspiracies come about on, did Michael Jackson actually do the music? Did they replace the music? Who knows? A lot of similarities with the Sonic 3 and Knuckles music to Michael Jackson's actual songs, which is, some of them are really uncanny. And recently, some people came out and confirmed that, yep, Michael Jackson did do the music. And in several re-releases of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the soundtracks have been completely changed from what the original one was, and that was probably due to the legal issues there. So a lot of times with these compilations, Sonic 3 and Knuckles never shows up, which is a bit of a shame. Hopefully they can overcome this one day, because Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of the best Sonic games. So yeah. But I bet you never knew that, did you, Jimmy?
I need to listen to the Sonic 3 and Knuckles soundtrack now. I don't think I've officially... Well, at least I probably have heard it, but I probably haven't heard it knowing that Michael Jackson had written it. So I'm going to re-listen to some of it now.
After we do this video, I'll send you some links so you can hear all about it. It's pretty interesting. And if you don't know anything about it, I'll link it in the description as well. But speaking of Sega Mega Drive games, Sega also have released the Sega Ages games. So far, they've released 2 games, being Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Thunder Force 4, 2 Mega Drive games, and they're sort of enhanced ports. Sonic 1 has the Drop Dash from Sonic Mania, which is pretty cool, and also the Spin Dash from Sonic 2, whereas Thunder Force 4, I can't remember what they added to that, but it's got some added stuff to it.
Nothing to be too noteworthy. So yeah, nah.
Exactly.
Cool.
But it's weird because they announced the Sega Mega Drive Classics, and then 2 days later they're like, oh yeah, now this is out as well. So they're kind of competing with themselves a little bit, where they're releasing these individual enhanced ports of classic Sega games, but then they're also releasing a big bundle of non-enhanced, sort of just like ROMs of the games. So they're kind of, for some people, taking away a sale from Sega Ages if they hadn't done the Sega Genesis, or they might do it the other way around. Who knows? It's very strange, especially to announce them so soon to each other, with the announcement and then the release of Sega Ages. It's weird. We discussed this in Sweaty Sundays. But Jimmy, quickly, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh god, what were my thoughts on this? I just think it's weird. It's such a big dilemma of which one for people want to choose, because obviously you get a choice of a big collection of a bunch of games, or you can individually pick and choose cheaper singular games, but also you're not getting a whole bunch of games and stuff like that. It's not a big collection. But if you go for the collection, you're not getting the enhanced versions of them. You're getting the lazy port versions of them. So it's like a big kind of dilemma. It's like, do I spend more on a big collection and most likely not play all of the games, or do I pick and choose a bunch of different singular ones and possibly maybe spend more money if I buy a whole bunch of them but still get a better experience out of individual games? I don't know. For me personally, I probably would pick the individual games, because then, as opposed to picking like the big collection, I won't have a whole bunch of games on the list that I might not play, as opposed to just picking and choosing a couple of $10 games, however much they are, and being a bit more selective with it. So, and also getting a better version of it. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Interesting stuff. Competing with yourself, Sega. They're gonna beat themselves into a pulp.
With more Sega Mega Drive news, Sega earlier this year announced the Sega Mega Drive Mini, and it was supposed to be coming out this year. However, the people who they worked with to make this, the At Games company, they have parted ways with them due to performance and the quality of the product not being up to scratch. So Sega has worked with At Games in the past with the Sega Mega Drive flashbacks. At Games also did the Atari flashbacks, and they've been known to have some really bad emulation with some really terrible sound quality as well, and no one likes At Games at all because they just make cheap, really trashy sort of clone consoles. So Sega were like, you know what, you guys aren't doing a good job at this. So they're going to be doing the Sega Mega Drive Mini internally now, and they're going to go for a worldwide release in 2019. So it's good of Sega to be like, you know what, you're making a bad product. Let's not ruin our reputation even more after Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom. Let's work on this, make it good, and then release it when we're happy with it, which is always good to see. But yeah, another Mini.
Great.
What are your thoughts on a Sega Mega Drive Mini, along with the Sega Ages and the Sega Mega Drive Classics?
There's too many Segas and there's too many Minis. There's a PlayStation Mini now. There was the Nintendo ones, and then they ran out of stock, and then they restocked. They're like, oh, we got a bunch more, and blah blah blah. People are scalping them and trying to make bank on those ones, and we got another Mini and everything like that. It's stupid. There's too many of them. The amount of times they've re-released Sonic as well is just ridiculous as well. Because I don't know. Like, they keep releasing Sonic games and doing Sega stuff and Sega collections and all these collections of old games, and I'm getting a bit peeved. It's not just a Sega thing; it's everyone. Everyone, stop, chill out, make new stuff.
Stop re-releasing things. Just make original content. But as you said,
then meanwhile, at the same time, we're also like, oh, please bring us the SNES games to the Switch, please, thanks. And yeah, so we contradict everything.
That's true. But as you said, Sony have also announced a PlayStation Classic Mini console. So many minis. In this mini console, you will find games such as Final Fantasy VII, Ridge Racer, Tekken, Wild Arms, among more. There'll be 20 games pre-installed. I'm not too keen or bothered. The only game I'm keen for at the moment is Final Fantasy VII, but I've already played that fully on PC, and it's coming to Switch soon as well.
It's going to be on Switch anyway, so like, why would you bother?
It's super expensive as well.
Yeah, it is. It's stupidly expensive. Like, I could buy... Because here's the thing. You could buy a PS3 for cheaper, and you can actually get a whole bunch of PS1 games on there, and PS2 games, and obviously PS3 games, and you can get that for cheaper than what this is worth. So this is just a console. And also, the controllers aren't DualShock controllers. They're the D-pad ones. They don't even have the DualShock.
They're not DualShock 2, yeah. The original ones.
They're not the original DualShock. So that's basically just... You've just got the old, stupid D-pad original PlayStation controller. So, basically it's like... pointless, I think. I feel like it's pointless, but people are gonna buy it anyway because people are stupid and they spend money on things and they're stupid. And also, I'm obliged to hate it because it's not Nintendo. It's a Nintendo channel.
Exactly. God, this ain't no Sony lounge.
Stupid Sony, get out of my face. Stop making stupid Venom movies. Get out of here.
Oof, got him. Now, going back to the Nintendo Switch Online service, hackers are already uploading additional games to the Switch NES library. So it seems like Nintendo didn't put much care or effort into the NES library, as we already know, with the CRT filter.
Yeah.
But even in terms of security with the app, with someone showing off them playing Battletoads on the NES sort of classics service thingy-majig, whatever it's called. So yeah, it's probably gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way, where people just put whatever game they want onto it, and then Nintendo will only officially release 5 more games in the next sort of month or so. Which is a bit of a shame, but it's also interesting to see the flaws in Nintendo's security, where someone can just put a ROM into the Nintendo Switch and play it. It's very strange. Jimmy, what would you hack into it?
What would I hack into it? I would hack back in a free online service. That's what I would hack back in.
Got him.
Got him, guys. Got him good. Alright, what's next, Scotty? What have we got next?
So next up is a bit of sad news, and that is Telltale Games have had a majority studio closure.
Aww.
With mass layoffs happening, which is never good to see people's jobs go off.
Yeah.
But Telltale not been having the best of time recently with their sort of not so great releases in terms of polish. A lot of their stocks and finances going down quite badly. Telltale, I used to love their older games, the Sam and Max, Tales of Monkey Island, Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people. I love them. The Back to the Future ones, the old classic Telltale, I absolutely love them. The more recent ones, not so keen. They were supposed to release the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale series onto the Nintendo Switch. They announced that last year, but that never happened. And I don't think it will. And a lot of people are unsure if they're going to finish the final season of the Walking Dead Telltale series, since a lot of staff have been laid off. They said they're going to finish some of their games due to obligations under contracts, such as with Minecraft and stuff like that. But I don't want this game to be finished if it means that staff don't get paid, get underpaid, sort of stuff like that. Jimmy, did you ever play the Walking Dead Telltale games?
I tried playing it and I didn't really get into it because I don't really like the gameplay style. It feels like a better medium to watch as opposed to play. I know you get choice and stuff like that, but whatever. I think I watched PewDiePie play it a long time ago, like back when he was playing it. And it was something I really did actually find myself getting attached to, like with the characters and stuff like that. So it sucks that they kind of have to like just drop it off suddenly and can't finish it. And the main thing that kind of annoys me the most about the situation is that most of the employees didn't actually get, they didn't get any notice about like being fired or let off. They just basically just said, all right, it's over, and basically just set everyone off. Which I think is the worst thing to take out of it, because basically everyone's just out of a job and just suddenly they don't know what to do. But obviously there's been a lot of game studios apparently opening the doors for them and saying like, hey, we want to conduct interviews and we want to have everyone that's been let off from Telltale be like the first priorities to come in and try and get a job with us. So that's been really good. But yeah, just from the higher ups of, Telltale and just, how they've been treating their employees, like it's horrible, but it's also, I guess, positive to see that they're no longer have to be working in such a poor condition. But yeah, I don't know, but it would be nice to actually see these games, especially The Walking Dead, since the character that they're focusing on, the character they've been, continuing to show for since 2011, since I think it was around 2011 when the first one came out, continuing that arc and completing the arc of that character, it's gonna be like a huge missed opportunity for them because that character is so beloved by so many people. So I don't know, it's gonna suck.
In nicer news, Capcom have announced that the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty cool. The 3 Phoenix Wright games for the Nintendo DS, they're going to be coming over to the Switch. I've never played Phoenix Wright. I know it's absolutely beloved. A lot of people love the series. It means I get to finally play it. Jimmy, did you ever play Phoenix Wright?
Nope.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, a good Capcom series. Coming out probably next year for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and the Switch, which is pretty exciting to see. So look forward to that. I've got nothing else to say really. Next up, Ubisoft have announced that the Hasbro Game Night is coming to the Nintendo Switch on the 30th of October, which comes with 3 games. It comes with Monopoly on Nintendo Switch, which already has a standalone copy of the game. So if you've been thinking about getting it, don't just wait for this bundle to come out. It also comes with the game Risk and also Trivial Pursuit, which I think would be quite a lot of fun on Nintendo Switch. Jimmy, you fan of Monopoly or Risk or Trivial Pursuit at all?
I'm a fan of Trivial Pursuit, but I have played the Hasbro version of it, and it's not quite the same as the board game version of it, unfortunately. And the board game is like one of my favorite board games because it's just like trivia questions and it gets really competitive and stuff like that. And I remember versing a bunch of people and just winning and being super proud of myself. But yeah, no, it's not quite as good as I would hope it would be because I've given it a go on the PS4. Monopoly I haven't tried on there. Monopoly might be cool, but didn't they already have a Monopoly?
It's already available on the Switch.
So there's no point.
Yeah, unless you don't have the game and you wanted it, hold off and get in the standalone copy and get it in this bundle.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that kind of works. But yeah, the other games in it, get Buzz. We need Buzz. You know what we need? Buzz.
Get Sony Lounge. You can come back if you give us Buzz.
Yeah, give us Buzz. Yeah, and just give it to Nintendo because I want Buzz. I really want Buzz, man. Buzz is a great game. That's what I hope Trivial Pursuit would be, but it wasn't. Buzz is great. Man. Anyway, sorry.
Next up on Nintendo news is Pokemon Go news. So a lot of Pokemon Go users found out that there's this weird new Pokemon in the game. Oh yeah, and a lot of people were like, did they Pokemon Go accidentally leak this? What? What? Because Pokemon Go did a lot of stuff wrong in the past. So a lot of people didn't put it past them that they'll screw this up and leak out a new Pokemon. But no, it was intentional. Pokemon Twitter said, what's this? Trainers, a new species of Pokemon has just been discovered in Pokemon Go. And that is the mythical Pokemon of Meltan. Have you seen his design? He's really weird. He's like got the body of a Ditto, but then he's just got a nut and an eye in his nut. It's very weird.
Yeah, I've seen it. And it's interesting. People seem to hate it because it's not like a furry looking Pokemon. So everyone's like, oh man, it's no Lucario. And it's like, shut up, man.
Yeah, shut up, Ryan. Don't worry if it's not Lucario. It's a new original Pokemon. It's weird. It's a weird design. But after you've done so many Pokemons, you're gonna get unique and strange design like this, I feel.
It's cute. It just exists. Let it be. Don't body shame it, man. But yeah, no. I honestly I didn't really see it when it was like coming out and stuff like that. But I saw it after, when they finally actually officially revealed it. But it's a really smart marketing move for them, especially for this new game coming out as well on the Switch. And I reckon, because of how quickly they can just update Pokemon Go and just add Pokemon to it, it's a really interesting and cool way to just throw out a new Pokemon instead of, obviously they drop, like 100 and something Pokemon every single game. They can just drop one random Pokemon and just be like, oh, what's this? Everyone's just discovered a brand new Pokemon in the world. It's just a really exciting and really surreal thing to just kind of find a new Pokemon in the world and just have that experience. And it really kind of creates that feeling of discovery that I think Pokemon's lacking now, because pretty much before Pokemon games come out, they reveal every single new Pokemon in every trailer, and all that discovery of finding all the new Pokemon in the game is just completely gone. But having this be something, just a surprise Pokemon you find in the wild, super cool. So I'm like, more of this would be cool. So that's sick, man. Fully sick.
Next up is a game that Jimmy is looking forward to. Jimmy, do you know what game we're talking about here?
I forgot. What was it?
It's Super Mario Party.
Yay.
Coming out in just a few days. However, someone found the game at an airport recently. Did you hear about this?
No.
So they found the game sitting near an airport, just casually. So the guy picked it up. He was like, I could play this game and play it early and have a lot of fun, or I could sell this on eBay. And this guy sold the game on eBay 10 days before the game was supposed to come out for $7,100 US.
Okay, but did he get arrested? Because that doesn't seem illegal at all. I don't think.
I don't know if the Nintendo ninjas have gotten him yet, but the cartridge was slightly damaged, but he's like, it still works perfectly fine, and it had over 81 bids on it, and came to $7,100. I feel the value of that will go down in about 3 days when the game comes out.
Yeah, why couldn't people wait? Why did you?
And there's nothing to like showcase that this is like an early copy. It doesn't say like promo on it or early or confidential. It's just the actual Switch cartridge that you will get at retail. So, yeah.
I'm gonna maybe it was being shipped and it got lost in postage because it was being shipped to, I don't know, but would they actually do that at like commercial airlines?
No idea. Maybe a Nintendo representative was playing it and he must have taken it out and left it there, which has happened with Apple before, where someone who works for Apple went to a bar and he left the new iPhone on the counter and someone just took it.
But with Nintendo representative, they probably just have the game downloaded onto their Switch.
That makes sense, yeah.
Why would they have a physical copy? Like that obviously is just bad news. And why would he have the cartridge still in the case? Why would he not have it in his, I don't know. It seems a bit silly. And why was it damaged? Did he get in a fight? Someone fight him for it?
The conspiracy.
Someone a bit of a scuffle? Ooh. Look at this.
So that's just a theory, a game theory. Next up, Splatoon 2 version 4.1 will be coming out next week, and will also include the final new stage for Splatoon 2, which is kind of sad to hear.
Yeah, that's sad. Oh, they're doing one more stage. Oh.
One more stage. Probably still new weapons and new outfits and all that kind of stuff in the future.
I mean, it's a lot of stages, so fair enough, yeah.
We've got a bunch of new stages added. Splatoon 2 has had amazing support over the past year it's been out.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, the new stage looks pretty cool. It was that sort of Japan-looking stage, the traditional one. I'm looking forward to play that. But yeah, hopefully we still get the new Splatfest stages, as we did every Splatfest. You had a new original stage that will come out. Hopefully they continue that. Hopefully they don't just start recycling stuff. But yeah, sad reacts there.
Sad reacts.
And to end it off, we've got some beautiful news to end it off. And this is some Fortnite news.
Oh no, what?
So, in the latest season of Fortnite, Epic says that they unintentionally added jiggle physics to the game.
Unintentionally added jiggle physics?
Exactly, to the female characters. A spokesperson said, "This is unintended, embarrassing, and it was careless for us to let this ship. We are working now to fix this as soon as possible."
What? Immediately Googles? What? How did that happen? How could you accidentally add did they just like accidentally
a developer did it as like a prank and it just went unnoticed?
Did they just drag and drop a file from another game? Like they just dragged what the heck?
Jiggle.exe, they just popped that in. So it became more publicized when a streamer shared a short video on Twitter where some fans quickly noticed the changes as well.
There's some slight jiggles. Oh wow, okay, when she gets back into a stationary position, you definitely see some fluid going on there. Very fluid motions.
There you go. All the 9-year-olds, all the 12-year-olds probably love Fortnite even more now. So there you go. Jimmy certainly does. And with that is some of the news that came out over this month of September. Overall, Jimmy, what were your thoughts on some of the news we went over today?
I only remember the jiggle physics, honestly. I don't remember anything else.
That's fair enough.
That stayed in my mind, that one.
So we'll be back at the end of October to discuss the October news, and throughout the month, I'm sure some exciting stuff's going to happen, which we'll probably talk about. Who knows? Until then, though, stay subscribed. Bye-bye.